Dr. Olubunmi Olorunfemi, you are welcome to Prof Television.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
What is the implication of the Trump presidency on Africa?
Oh, that's a lovely one. It's very current. Yes, I wish to say first that I appreciate your kind invitation to myself to appear on your program. And yes, I believe the Trump presidency holds a better option for Africa than the outgoing democratic governance in America. I believe President Trump is a businessman, and he has a business-like approach to governance. It's about mutual benefit. So I believe if anything is not going to be of benefit to the United States of America, it will not be in support. And obviously, Africa is a vast continent that has a lot of potential for development. Lots of opportunities in all the different African countries, both in terms of infrastructural development, industrialization, and so there's a lot of money that can be made for both American companies, investors, and which will be of mutual benefit to African nations as well. So it's a businessman, it's an investor. So then there are opportunities. Where there is opportunities, businessmen go there. So I believe it's going to be mutually beneficial to Africa, to Nigeria, and to America as well, if the Trump presidency, when it does comes to power. So yes, it's a lot of potential: energy infrastructure, machineries, equipment, expertise, and internet, IT, artificial intelligence, lots of collaboration. And I'm sure you have noticed that one of his strongest supporters is an African, Mr. Elon Musk. He's a South African that japared to America, to Canada. So it's one of the benefits of the Japa syndrome. So it's already reaping a benefit, and Microsoft is already in Nigeria, Apple is in Nigeria, Netflix is in Nigeria, Amazon is in Nigeria. Those are very powerful American companies. So yes, I think it's a win-win situation for Africa and Nigeria.
Africans who are opposed to Trump say Trump hates Africans, and he has said so many dirty things about the continent. And that is why they don't want him, especially as regards his incoming policy to expel as many Africans as possible from the United States of America.
I will have a kind of different opinion to that, in that, like I said, he's a pragmatic businessman. Mr. Trump himself is a descendant of immigrants from Germany. So, but as a businessman, he's looking at what is the benefit to America. And I believe he was speaking against illegal immigration. And some communities have been devastated by some unwholesome activities of some immigrants. I'm sure, I'm quite aware that there are some neighboring countries where immigrants flood into on foot and cross the border to America, and there have been indications of unwholesome activities like drug trafficking, gang violence, and things like that. So the American populace in those areas have been victims. I will say it's similar to what we have in Nigeria, where we have the northern borders, where terrorists flood into Nigeria to cause havoc, and they are foreign terrorists, foreign marauders. So I'm not saying there are terrorists flooding into America. I didn't say that, but the American local population have been subject to a lot of wholesome activity by illegal immigrants in those areas. So I think his campaign was directed at those illegal immigrants causing trouble for the local population. So the Africans that are in America that are law-abiding, I wouldn't see them having anything to fear. Like I said, Elon Musk is an African from South Africa. He migrated to America, part of the Japa Syndrome. He went there to do his master's program, and that's where he started. So he was educated fully in South Africa before he moved to the Americas for his master's program. And today is one of the richest people in the world and a very strong advocate and supporter of President Trump. So I will say that the law-abiding people in America, including Nigerians, including Africans, should have nothing to fear. That's my assessment.
Dr. Olorunfemi.
Yes, sir.
How will you feel if in the middle of next year, 2025, a lot of Nigerians are repatriated as a result of the new policy of President Trump in America?
One, if that does happen, then it will be quite bad. Certainly will not be happy about that. But like I said, I don't envisage that happening because America is a nation of immigrants. And what he's talking about is referring to illegal immigrants engaging in activities that are not to the benefit of the host nation. So, and America is a very large country, large population, has always been favorable to immigrants, land of opportunity. So I hope it doesn't happen, and I'm not expecting it to happen, that a lot of Nigerians will be repatriated back to Nigeria. But like I said, even if it does happen, Nigeria is also a very promising country. There are lots of opportunities in Nigeria for Nigerians. It was just because, I mean, of course, we are free to migrate to anywhere we like. And so it will not be the end of the world, and Nigerians will prosper anywhere we are. Nigerians are very industrious. We are very hardworking. We are very innovative. We are very intelligent. So anywhere we are, we will flourish.
In his first term, President Trump never visited Africa. Do you see any difference in his second coming?
Definitely, yes, I see. I can envisage a difference. When he was first in office, he was learning the ropes, really, because he's a businessman who became a president. And but now I'm sure he's aware of a lot of development in Africa due to his close association with Americans of African descent. And I keep on mentioning it. Elon Musk is one of his strongest supporters. He's an South African. He's South Africa, born and bred in South Africa, educated in South Africa. So, and his perspective about Africa is probably going to be different now in terms of what benefits America can derive from Africa. Yes, there are benefits America can derive from Africa. And America has always been interested in Africa, really. We have close relationship with America and Nigeria. And Kenya enjoyed a good relationship as well with America, Ghana, a lot of African countries. So I think, President Donald Trump, when it just comes in, will give Africa a bit more attention. And I can see him visiting Nigeria or South Africa, even any of the other countries. I'm quite looking forward to that. And it will be great for us as a continent, as a country, as a people, for the American president to visit us again, to be something that will be mutually beneficial. Yes, I can see him visiting Africa.
How do you see the world order, international relations from 2025 under President Trump? What is likely to happen in the Middle East, in the war between Israel and the Palestinians, as well as the war between Russia and Ukraine? What is likely to be the position of President Trump in these areas?
That's a very lovely question. It's something I've been quite interested in. I would like to draw inference from his previous tenure as president. I think at the point when he came in, the Middle East was in turmoil. We had the Syrian civil war going on, with the rebels being supported by NATO and America at that time. And the government was struggling to even get the rebels to come to the discussion table. I believe when President Trump came in, he made it quite clear that peace is the ultimate. And the support for the rebels was not that great afterwards. And we ultimately, relative peace was restored in Syria at the end of the day. And I believe some other countries were also told clearly that the American cannot fund their conflicts, that if they do want to engage a conflict, they should be able to fund it themselves. So that kind of put a break to people going to create wars where they could talk. So basically, and I think he also reached out to a lot of other countries where previously the Western world have declined to engage in peace talks or the discussions. And so his approach paid off. And I believe throughout his 4-year tenure, there was no new war at all. Most of the other wars were kind of curtailed. People that want to fight kind of settle down and talk instead of fighting. And I think I respected him for that. And I don't see him continuing to supply weapons of mass destruction to Israel, no matter how justifiable the military action is. We've had lots of innocent children and women, thousands dying unnecessarily, and a matter that can be resolved on the table. So I see him adopting a different approach this time around to ensure that all parties can come to the talking table and discuss and settle their differences amicably. After all, every war ends at the discussion table. It doesn't end at the war front. Eventually, everybody has to come to the table and discuss. So why not come to the table as soon as possible? And with the look of things, everybody wants to come to the table in the Middle East, except some Israel, who is still justifiably angry about the atrocity that happened to its citizens. But then we have to come to the table at the end of the day. So I see peace returning to the Middle East. But what I will also probably want to see again is for President Trump to be fully aware that his mandate is a mandate of peace. The vote is coming in is a vote against the foreign policy of the outgoing administration in the Middle East and Ukraine and other places as well. So we think he will come in to ride on that wave of positive expectations to bring peace to that troubled region. It's been long. The conflict has been going on for too long. Enough people have died unnecessarily. So it's time for peace. And I would expect President Trump to do the needful and bring peace to that region.
People of the Fountain.